Looking like a CEO out here. That means cock entering the ovaries. Yes. This is how you ruin your professional career in 2.5 seconds. Is somehow you have to find a way, to look professional, and then all of a sudden you say unprofessional things like nice skirt. Skirt. Then you're skirting your way out of a nice paying position. But you know what? Yeah, friendship. It's the most necessary evil in this world. Why is it an evil? Friendship is a wonderful balancing act, Without it, you have a lonely tenor. Tenor. In this simulation. And then without it, you kind of are just a pathetic being. So either way, yeah, I look like, honestly, I kind of feel like I look like someone who works at a funeral home. Like, I honestly think, I would be the perfect guy to be in, one of those stock photos for weddings. Like, oh, man, my date, she caught the bouquet. And, I'll be over here like Bobby Boucher. Because, I'll get everyone the water boy. And squirt some type of gun in their mouth. Champagne. And, I feel like if I were to go for a casting, I think I would be like that, frat stock guy, junior year but then I'm snorting cocaine off someone ex's wife's Pilates teacher. I'm not a cocaine guy, but when you look like this, you try some things, Apparently, there's this whole thing about when you get a haircut, the world treats you different. You got the world at the palm of your hands, because you don't have any palm oil, or neem, Kareem, because no matter how many sky hooks you be trying to throw out there, no one bites. But you know what does bite? Hemorrhoids. Yeah. But nah, you know what? It's been, there's nothing wrong with your screen. This is me. This is ever since I started this show, and this is episode 308, my hair has never been short. I've never gotten a haircut ever since I started the show. That's a crazy, unsanitary piece of shit thing you could say out loud. But, sometimes you gotta... I will say this, though. I used to bash the price of haircuts, right? I'm not saying you should pay $100 for a haircut. But I was even talking to my barber about this. I don't know if barber's the right term. That's a very loose term, barber. I would say my hair connoisseur, because this man was detailed to the bone. And I felt like I felt a bone on my back, if you get what I'm saying. I think he had a thing, because, some guys, some people, they like projects out here. I came there with a knot in my head, and he's like, ready or not, here I come. On my back. But hey, I gave him a $20 tip because I'm a nice guy. I don't do it often. He was very good. I'm just kidding. It was a great experience, He even shampooed my hair and everything. I don't think I've ever had a man shampoo my hair. I don't know if that's a flex or a minor tell about myself. Well, I guess when I was younger, my dad probably shampooed my hair, When you're young, you're probably not capable of shampooing your hair properly unless you want to get lice, No kid is a pro at, smushing their fingers in their hair unless it's poop. Unless you have one of those tear-free type of shampoos. But I feel like if it's tear-free, what product's in there that's really making your hair clean? But I don't know, you get some shampoos in your eyes, you're like, give me that tear-free, baby. Suave, with a nice little well on it. But yeah, sperm whale. Mo B, come get Mo of B dick. But nah, you know what? Obviously, I kind of look like I eat, bagels for food reviews. I look like I kind of go to local hack spots in big cities and do little food reviews in my car and say I'm on break when really I quit my job, and then, I just say this is what I do and start making shorts and making money off things that you had no creation of. It's just you devouring stale bagels and oily sandwiches in your mouth and never giving a real honest review below a 7.7. But I'm not here to criticize. But yeah, welcome to episode 308 of the Often Be Podcast with Clint Nelson. Jeez, my voice is hanging on for dear life right now. I felt like John Mayer before he had to get voice surgery, without the ability to sing or play guitar to that degree. But yeah, welcome to episode 308 of the Often Be Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson, even though I am slow dancing in a burning room right now. I just can't stop. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, most important ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah, recording this on December 11th, 2024. Happy birthday to the DAD. And even if you say that backwards, it's still the same. Yeah, that is today. It's nice, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's nice to have some time to self-care, to take care, to learn about life. You ever just look outside? This happened earlier. I was hanging out with a good friend of mine, and we just sat down and talked. It's something that, based off our life situations, we have not been able to do for quite some time. Now that some opportunities have opened up, the simplicity of we're just sitting there and we're looking outside and we're just looking out on the street, watching people drive on a rainy night. We were watching people honk the horn, being mad, just irritate because there's all this road work out here. So there's a lot of confusion, people turning, running lights and shit like that. So people are honking the horn like every couple minutes. And we were sitting there contemplating, like, this is what life is supposed to be like. Not trapped in a vehicular manslaughter of a everyday task you have to do. Not being stuck indoors. Not being ostracized to such minimal things, right? We're supposed to be out here just enjoying the flawedness, the kind of improprieties that us people, we call. I actually look like? I look like media day for the Super Bowl. That's what I look like, Where's my pass? But it's really one of those things where the simple, like I sat there and I stopped our conversation. I literally said, when is the last time you have just been able to sit down, look outside of a window, and not have to worry about anything except what you think? Like, not even talking to anyone, not even expressing your thoughts, but literally just sitting down, looking out, and actually feeling a part of society, feeling in tune with what's going on out there. And it sounds like kind of like, whatever. But I think in today's world, there's this hustle culture. There's this obsession with keeping things moving, the next thing. We're always worried about the next thing, being productive all the time. And we kind of take for granted the actual measure of productiveness, which is our relationships with people, but also our relationship with the world and kind of our viewpoint of it. You know, your relationship with your viewpoint and your perspective is really what is going to dictate your success in whatever you're trying to do. Because if you don't have a real perspective or point of view, everything you do is misguided by default, right? If you don't have a perspective of who you are, or a genuine perspective of how people perceive you, you will never get the best out of people. You will never get what you need out of people. And I know that sounds kind of like pretentious, like using people, but you are never going to be able to offer the most of what you can offer, you know, of yourself. You're never going to be able to understand what people around you need from you. You will never be able to understand when you walk into a room. You will never be able to identify what is danger, to be able to identify someone that really just needs someone to talk to. You'll never be able to identify someone who's having a bad day, and a simple comment you make can literally change the trajectory of their week. Depending on what you say, it could give them confidence to make the craziest next biggest move of their life, you know. Who knows, you know? And that sounds extreme. But you can never really do that if you always take for granted of just being able to think, right? And as I was sitting there, we just stopped talking for a few minutes. And we were talking about something pretty in-depth and serious. And we're just like, and this person said to me that, you know what? This just made me confirm all these things I've been feeling with, you know, with things they've been feeling with their job and things they've been feeling with their personal situations, and some to that degree. All it did was just sitting there observing for a minute or two, literally just kind of like, this, I missed this. I would get rid of everything else just to have this every day. Just to be in tune with the world out there. Not relying on you being occupied with some 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, whatever that thing may be for you. And you're relying on information to consume you, processing in a small amount of time, and never be able to sit with it, because the next thing you know, the next day, someone's assassinating a CEO, you know? Which is kind of, you know, that's the thing within itself. It's weird that people are cheering, right? You should never cheer someone dying unless, you know, they're like, you know, a dictator or world leader, you know, that has killed people themselves, or they're a really bad person, stuff like that. This is just someone who made shitty ass policies or didn't really change them and kind of probably screwed a lot of people over. It's not right, but there's also no reason to. We should not be celebrating someone getting assassinated. I understand you may not have too much sympathy, but that doesn't make the person that did it that much better, you know? So, I don't know. You know, if you were a director of a building you worked at, let's just say. Let's say the building is poorly run. Let's say it's poorly operated. And let's say the system in place is not really conducive to probably what people would consider fair in a workplace, but maybe that director is trying to change things, but it takes time. They're trying to change processes. They're trying to make the situation as best as possible. But since their name is attached to it, they're going to get attached with the label of fucking you over type of shit. Does that make it right for someone to go outside and just assassinate them? I don't know. Well, the answer is no. But goddamn, I look like Dapper Dan. But nah. You know, I think a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted. We can rationalize anything in this world because we feel like anything that's done in the name of moral justice, it just means it's right. But look, man, I'm a man trying to get corporate deals out here. I'm always going to side with the corporations. Not really. In case you just ignored the last 12 minutes of what I've talked about, I've just said, ignore, what these corporations want from you. At the end of the day, though, I think what's important is just being in tune with yourself, being in tune with things that matter to you. But in order to do that, you have to be able to identify your perspective, your point of view. So you actually have a point of view, because without point of view, you have no view to point at, If someone says, "Where's your dick?" You don't know where your dick is, then you have no perspective, So, know where your dick's at, and you'll know where you're headed. I think that's the saying. What's that man's name? Dr. Seuss. Horton hears a who. Dicky dicky do. But yeah, no. I don't know. It was just one of those things where those small moments lead to a bigger picture. Also, I look like I signed contracts for baseball players, If I could take 10% of Juan Soto's 10 years, 765 or 3%. What is 3% of 765? That's a lot of millions. I think that's 15 at least. Maybe even a little bit more than that. I'm just trying to get my Social Security, But yeah, we got these big ass contracts out here. I don't even keep up with sports that much, And gambling's a dangerous thing, But see, the thing is, we gamble with things every day. We gamble with our livelihoods. We gamble with the things we say and the repercussions of it. We gamble with who we decide to have children with in this world. We gamble with, it's kind of odd, It's kind of odd they call it Planned Parenthood, but in reality, it's technically unplanned. But, sorry. Jesus Christ. But yeah, God, looking professional, looking like a pro, I look like I'm in the locker room after going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and a walk. Kind of like Chris Davis when he was on the Orioles on a 0 for 58 streak where it's hey, no matter what, you got to look professional. And it's okay, so professional it is. It's weird. People say you'll start getting treated different, right? I don't know if that's true. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm the same guy. I just look like I give more of a shit. But I'm the same guy that give the same amount of shits, except I actually really give less shits. Because I don't give a shit, But, what are you going to do? A lot of things are up in the air, as they say. I guess we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah, look, I know there's going to be certain people watching this, did Clint join a cult? Has Clint lost his mind? And the answer is, fill in the blank. It could be all the above, I think the only thing is people need to know that things are on the up and up. Things are looking solid. No stripes. Just solid. Sometimes things happen so quick, right? Not everything is this masterfully planned. Not everything is this just well put together, well thought, strategic plan. Where everything is so thought out that there's no real impulse feel to it. There's no real living. Part of living is being impulsive, I'm an impulsive guy. But I'm not an idiot, Sometimes you have plans that you had till X, Y, and Z to get it done. And then sometimes you come to your senses and you're like, I hate the word I deserve, but you know what? I have earned the right to myself to do better, And doing better is very subjective. I know I'm speaking a lot in code, This is protecting myself. It's not about right, wrong, or indifferent. It's about smacking that ass till, 401k comes back. That would be cool. Maybe if we would have had some stripper parties. Team morale. If I was in charge, there's just a suggestion. If I ever was in charge of a business, or if I was ever in charge of just a department, let's just say, I would definitely have taken the team out on maybe a Friday, Saturdays, and be the last day of the week for everyone. I would schedule it that way and be like, we're going out. And I'm going to have all y'all shake at. I want to take you all to go watch some ass shaking. Because you guys got your ass spanked on you all week, So at least see a visual representation to give it back, I'm a giving guy. I'll even, I'll cover 20% of your bill, Now, don't go crazy. I'll still put a cap on it. But you know what? I would be a great boss. Just make sure you use the company's budget. Because every company, they have it where you have a budget. Where it's, for team purposes, you could use this, get the team, meals and stuff like that, reward your team. Be like, oh, we're going to abuse that budget. Don't worry about it. They're going to learn what a euro is real quick. I can tell you that. Slimy po' boy euro. And you know what? It would be completely voluntary. And hey, the less that go, the more hoes for you. But nah, in all seriousness though, I think it's just you just gotta you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe in a higher being than yourself. I've really thought it recently. This is honest God truth, and I never thought I would say this. I've thought about seeking some type of how do I put it? Group seeking similar goals, right? God, I sound like such a scam artist right now. I promise I'm not a different person. I promise I did not discover some Bitcoin. I did not discover something. The only thing I discovered was myself. But I think a lot of people, they're going to see this episode and they're going to be very surprised by my look, my aura. And sometimes when you remove yourself from something, you actually, it's pretty immediate. And when it's immediate, the change, that's when you know what you have done is the right thing to do. It doesn't deny. God doesn't deny your fruition to labor what you have not been able to labor, even when your labors have been compensated. I think that's a saying somewhere. Jeremiah 8:12, something like that. Yeah, I once had a friend named Jeremiah. His favorite team is Kent State. They just went 0-12. How is that relevant? Not at all. But Boise State's top 4 in the college football playoff. So, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, I think I think I'm just ready to jump in the pool, Jump in the pool. Wet balls. I mean, I'm not talking about my balls, but the pool balls, There's actually a music video. Came out today. It's a song with Quavo, Luke Bryan, I think Teddy Swims. And it is basically a song called Georgia. I forgot the whole name. Something about Georgia. But it's basically in the comments section. This is going to be the new Georgia anthem. I was listening to the song and I'm like, wow, music has stooped to some new lows here. I'm not saying the song was trash, but I just got a huncho that Chris Brown was right. He took Sweetie and Quavo has fallen off. I'll tell you that. I could just say that his music is not my type. Meh. Yeah. Sea Breezy. That used to be my name. Sea Breezy. I also look like I serve bread at Longhorn. You'll always get extra butter with me because you know what? You're already overpaying. I'm going to give you the extra butter, And brown bread. It's always better. I don't know if it's better for your heart or your well-being. But you know what is better for your well-being? Friendship. But yeah, so going back to friendship. Friendship is a delicate but important thing out here. I didn't realize I am someone I have functioned for the longest time after after one of my best friends passed away probably about 5 or 6 years ago. In a very unexpected way, heartbreaking way, all that good stuff. Not good stuff, but it was pretty not great how I found out, but it's in the past, whatever. Ever since then, I've kind of lived this life pretty solo when it comes to friendship, Not that I don't have friends, not that I didn't hang out here and there, but it was not a staple in my life. And to have that staple in your life, you realize how much just having someone to express things, especially as a guy, there's only so much you could really express to, let's just say your family, or if you have a female companion, or if you have a feminine companion, male or female, they, them, they, X, they are. Yes, I know my pronunciations. Kyle XY or Kylie XY. Oh, you need more than contour to cover up that penis. Took it nude a little too literally. That'd be pretty demeaning. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, if you're like, I don't know how this works with guys, not to get too off the rails here. But let's say you're two guys, right? And you like each other's bumholes. I don't know. How can you actually be, I think they call it the top. How can you be the top if their meat is dangling a little bit more than yours? It's kind of an odd situation, Unless, it's, you don't want to put the biggest thing in the hole, you want pleasure, I don't know how that works, It's like, I would assume the guy with the bigger thing is typically the top. Like, it's like, hey, you don't get to choose at this point, Or unless you're switcherooing around, Unless you are, on what is it called? The dugout hole? Oh. Oh, it's dugging out all right. Put the donut around the bat. I think that's called a CR. Cock ring. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Harktua. More like cocktua in the But yeah, sorry. Completely off rails. I don't know how that works out. Anyways, it's kind of a dominance hierarchy. The point I'm trying to make is, I forgot the point I'm trying to make. The point is friendship, However you guys get along as friends, do what you gotta do. But the point is that you realize that over time, I can't believe I'm going back to this after saying all that bullshit. What's wrong with me? Friendship, as a guy or a girl, I think it is just important to have. I think it's important for females to have females as friends and males to have males as friends, because there's just some things that talking and just hanging out and just enjoying certain things, that it will make your home life, it will make your everyday life just a lot more balanced, and you're able to direct the proper energies in proper places. I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest thing I've trying to come back around to reset myself is directing the proper energies in the proper places. God damn, I'm starting to sound like a female. God damn it. I have been around spiritual stuff too much. Jesus Christ. But you know what? There's something to it. You can't deny it. There wouldn't be this many women making money off of it if there wasn't something to it. So, I don't know. I just think it's all about assessing your proper energies in the right places. And when you're in control of that, everything takes care of itself. At least that's my belief, God, I look like I eat salmon BLTs from Panera Bread. What a fucking asshole I am. Now I look like I pay for everyone's lunch at work. Jesus Christ. I look employed. That's the whole joke of the episode. I look employed. Who knows? I may or may not be. Cliffhanger. Yeah, I still feel like absolute shit. But who doesn't feel like shit? Juan Soto. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So how do you move forward? You make drastic changes, seismic shifts. How do you navigate that? I am not a life advice. I am not a self-help. I am not a person you should rely on for any real big decisions you make in your life. All I am is just a person that has probably gone through similar things that you have in different ways, and you either relate to it or you just say, I'm good, and that's fine. But either way, one thing that's undeniable is the fact that change, it is inevitable. I'm not going to lie, I sound like I'm reading a teleprompter for a cult right now. And that's what it feels like. You know what, honestly, I could probably start a cult. And I think I would be good at it. I think I get enough people to follow me. I can hypnotize people. I can make people slurp deviled eggs off each other's tits. I'm pretty sure I could do it. I could turn a few guys gay on each other. That's all cults is. If you're able to brainwash people to do things, that's what it's all about. Like Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I do need Jesus. And you know what? I might take advantage of this time. I might go to church on Sunday. That's going to be my, putting myself in uncomfortable situations. I'm going to dress like a person that, you always hear that you could just go to a church and they will not deny you. Why do I feel like that's not true? And they may not deny you, but you just start getting asked 1,000 questions. And you know what? They start asking me, have you been here? I'll be like, I don't know. But I feel like when Jesus was being sacrificed on the cross, they were asking him 500 questions about why he's up there. You ungrateful fucks. The only thing I know, like, you guys purposely Start the times that you do so you can watch football. And I don't blame you. But yeah. I'm going to go to... That's what I'm going to do this Sunday. You know, I'm going to try some things, put myself in uncomfortable situations. I just want to be around the vibe of community. I'm going to go to a church this Sunday, and I will do a podcast reviewing my experience at church. There. That's what we're going to do. Book it. Put that as a sponsor. You know what? You can quote this. I promise you. I'm going to put it's not my first time at a church, but I'll put my first time going to a church without knowing anyone at that church. How does that sound? That sounds pretty ballsy, you know? Now the question is, should I go to one of those big ass commercial churches, you know, where they're singing, you know, they start playing some drums and hallelujah, but they add some snare to it and soul. And they have some random 14-year-old that could kind of sing, and then some guy in the background, and he will find you. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to church. And I'm going to see, does it need me more than I need them? Maybe I could bring something to them. Maybe, you know what? Now I think about it. Not to get too full of myself, you know. You know, see, that's the problem. You smell grass for a few too many hours, you know, you start thinking that you have figured out the world out here, and you think the world needs you more. I honestly feel retired, you know. I actually told my friend, I legitimately feel retired right now. Except this retirement plan was very not well thought out, Charles Schwab. Whoever was in charge of this retirement plan, can I get my money back? But yeah, you get what you pay for, you know. But yeah, maybe I could provide value and feedback to the church, and like, hey, I'm gonna raise my hand. Anyone got anything they want to add? I'm gonna raise my hand. They'll be like, sorry, do we know you? And be like, you know, just a week ago, I was a whole different person. And now, I don't look like Jesus. Or no. You know, I'll stand up and be like, hello, my name's Clint. I'm an alcoholic. And I've been an alcoholic for 20 years. And they'll be like, how old are you? 29, you know. I tried chocolate vodka when I was 9. Been hooked ever since. Which is probably not false, because I do like chocolate drinks. I do notice that. Whether that's mocha or white chocolate. I just like chocolate. I have a sweet tooth. Very, very sweet. I noticed that. I think that New Year's Eve party is the blame. I got hooked on chocolate vodka. I don't know. Well, I let my kid drink at a young age. I don't know. Not purposely. But, you know, while the wife's not looking, I might sneak a little Jose Cuervo in his bottle. That's going to be one happy-ass baby, I can tell you that. Hey, you know what? I'd rather him drink a little rum than to have some, you know, Jewish priest suck his mole, you know. I don't know. But, you know, should you, regardless of religious reasons, you know, just logistically, circumcision, you know, I don't know. That's what I look like. I look like I go to a Jewish synagogue, you know. It looks like I'm about to baptize my child and have their pee-pee sucked by this, what they call, not the Jewish priest, but, you know, Judas priest? No, that's a band. That's a group. Ugh. But yeah. You know, what do? You know, do you circumcise your kid? Do you let them keep the skin? You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping the skin. You know, I think it's pretty standard procedure in America where you get circumcised. You know, you don't need all the extra skin. It's a lot more cleanup. You have more risk of building fungi and shit like that. But also, it can affect your apparently it could affect your semen levels too. Shit like that. I don't know what it is. I think we just gotta ask, the guys that produce the most children in the world, were they circumcised? Well, what are the common links between all of them? Well, number one, maintaining an erection. It's a common issue between men these days. It's a real thing, It's tough. It's tough out here for the erect penises. I feel like it's one of those 3 a.m. commercials where it's like a girl staring into a camera. It's not like a porno infomercial. It's about toys. It will be like about sex toys, or you'll go from David Muir, the 2:30 a.m. news. The next thing you know, it'll be like some girl on trying to sell a call line product. Be like, you ever thought about being rock hard? And you're just like, I was about to go upstairs and watch some, Sports Center highlights, but I think you might be on to something. And you watch a few more minutes more, keeping the volume low. Don't want to wake up the parents and freak out your cat in there or dog. And they're just like, they're wearing these sexy lingerie. They're doing these seductive, pretending they're on a phone. Obviously, the phone doesn't work. It's just a prop. And it kind of has that Saved by the Bell vintage kind of quality of camera. And it'll be like, if you call right now, your first 5 minutes are free. And I'm like, you think I'm going to need 5 minutes? I'm 12 years old, bitch. That's the crazy part. It's like, so the first 5 minutes are free, right? Whatever you say to me. Now, does the 5 minutes start the second I dial, or does it start the second you start saying, "What's your name, sweetie?" Because either way, I'm not going to need the 5 minutes. I'm 12 years old, And the worst is the texting, Look, I get it. You need some companionship. You need some fake companionship. Look, always go for the real thing. Regardless if you're going to get an STD or not, just get a prostitute. I'm not advocating for sex work. Only voluntary. Only women that want to do it. What I am saying is, alright, calling over the phone to get your rocks off, whatever. I understand. You're in prison. Your options are limited, But, nowadays, all the female security guards are ready to throw it back on you, You don't even have to turn the swab a couple times. They're like, oh, that's all you wanted. Welcome to the Fulton County Jail, baby. It's always Fulton County or somewhere in St. Louis where they're doing this shit. Either way, keep the inmates happy, And then, but yeah, it's one thing for the calls. It's one thing to pay for something in person. I think when you get to the text messaging, that's where you kind of enter a very sad territory, in my opinion. Like, these guys are in these chat rooms of girls that they know aren't real. You're probably talking to some nowadays chat GBT or AI or some guy behind a computer screen, like the Andrew Tate stuff. And it's just like, I'm sorry. I don't get how typing turns you on. I don't get it. Unless it's a text message to a person you have created a connection with. Then I don't see how you can have that, oh, what you doing in bed, baby? And you're just like, watching you type. It's a pretty sad thing, I think you're pretty down bad, as the kids say. Like, it's so easy to pay for shit these days. Look, and I'm not advocating. Like, you can even pay for sex without it calling pay for sex, I mean, all you have to do, certain girls, buy them some weed, you know. Take them out on a few dates. They're going to touch your genitalia at some point, you know. It's a 48 law. It's the 48 laws of power. If you buy them weed, take them out on a few dates, they're going to touch your wiener. You know, they got to rationalize it. You know, they got to be full and high, you know. See, you just got to know how you got to enter. You got to know how you enter the chat, you know. You just got to be realistic with yourself, you know. I'm a realistic guy. I'm not someone that think I can just walk into a room and swoon a lady. That's not my thing. For me, I'm someone that takes time. You have to really be around me in real settings, you know. And let's just say the lady, she's gotten the best of it, you know. And so the point I make there is, you got to have direction, you know. You got to have perspective in your game of life, your game of paying for sex. Now it sounds like I pay for sex. I've never paid for sex. Never. Well, you know, not in the illegal way. Technically, I mean, if we're going to break it down, all guys technically pay for sex in some ways. Even if it's not a direct exchange, technically it's like you're always paying to go do something. That just is what it is. It's just about, you know, are you giving them money to directly touch her? You got to pay to do things that may lead to something. It doesn't make it wrong. Doesn't make it any less moral. It's just the way it is. All right. But if you ever go with the issue is if you ever think just because you pay for something, you're entitled to something. That's where you have an issue, you know. So, that's all I'm going to say. Every kiss begins with K. Yeah. So, yeah. The moral of today's pod is, you know, friendship is important. You know, you're kind of sad and pathetic if you get horny off chats. And, yeah, you know, have perspective. Have direction. Have a purpose. Trust what you're doing. Get a haircut because apparently people think it makes you a different person. Apparently you have a different aura. Apparently you go from the aura of a, you know, reduced price chicken breast at a grocery store to all of a sudden you're fucking, you know, clucking chicken, you know. You're all of a sudden the big chicken, you know. You go from, you know, you come from one of those reduced $4 chicken breast tendons to all of a sudden you are the big chicken. That's what a haircut does for you, supposedly. But I don't know. You know, just embrace who you are. Focus on what's next and everything else in the past. You got to just forgive and be okay with it. So, yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. I am amazing at answering no questions. But yeah, that was episode 308 of the Off Beat Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Yeah. Suck them titters. Meep, meep. Oh, yeah. Looking like all gain and no pain.